With the market experiencing such volatility this last year, many analysts and investors wonder what might cause the next recession. Some believe it will be caused by geopolitical issues, and others think tax changes might be that catalyst towards a significant market downturn. Today I'm here with Ken Moraif, CEO for Retirement Planners of America. Ken, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So with all this volatility in the stock market and these changes in the economy, what do you think might lead us to that economic slowdown or even the next recession?
Well, if you look back at history, and you know, the old adage is if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, right? So I think it's always good to be a student of history. And if you go back and you look at the two worst recessions we've had in our country, and you look at the two worst bear markets that we've had that came with that, the first and the granddaddy of all of them, of course, was the Great Depression. And in that one, the stock market, the Dow Jones Industrials went down 92%. Can you imagine? 92%. In 2008, we also had the second worst recession and bear market, and in that event, the market went down 57%, in this case, the S&P. So if you look at those two, what did they have in common? And it was they were both driven by debt. And 2008, for example, was the subprime mortgages, all that debt, people borrowing money they couldn't pay back. What's happened since then is that governments and central banks around the world, to solve the 2008 problem, what they did was they borrowed more money. So the solution to debt is more debt. And so now the global economy has $247 trillion in debt, according to the World Bank. And that's more debt than in the history of mankind. It's 10 times what we had in 2008. It's like this massive increase. And my concern is that because the worst recessions and bear markets were created by debt, now we have what I call a government infusion bubble. Okay, and if that bubble pops, there's nobody to bail. You know, the subprime, the banks were bailed out by the government. Who's going to bail out governments? So, you know, it could get very ugly if we don't do something about it.
Do you think people should really be surprised by this? Should investors be surprised by this?
You know, I think if you ask the average person about our debt, I think in the back of their minds, they know that we are running a very high amount of debt. But in terms of putting it into something tangible, I don't think the average person can do that. And it's easier to think about, you know, your life and what you're doing. But I do think that the debt is a huge issue. And I think, you know, what can't go on forever won't, right?
Sure.
And we cannot go on borrowing at the levels that we are without discipline. And I don't think it ends well.
How should this impact investor decision making?
Yeah, so because I'm a planner, I plan for the worst and hope for the best. So as a planner, I always think about, you know, how can I protect myself from the things? You may remember Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of State of Defense. Yes, he said there's the known known, the known unknown, and the unknown unknown. Well, there is a known unknown, and that is that we are going to have, in my opinion, another bear market, another recession. That's a known. What we don't know is when it's going to happen. So it's a known unknown.
Sure.
The unknown part you can plan for. And in our firm, we work with people who are retired or retiring soon. So we believe in protecting principal. And so we have a strategy we call invest and protect. And the idea behind that is that, you know, you need to have a strategy that says there's a point where I'm going to get out and protect myself from further losses. And in November of 2007, our strategy said to sell. And it said to stay out for all of 2008, and it wasn't until June of 2009 that it said to buy. So for a year and a half, clients that followed our advice avoided that 57% drop that happened in the S&P.
Ken, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And if you're interested in learning more about Ken or the Retirement Planners of America, you can visit rpoa.com for more information. I'm Julie Parisi. Thanks for watching.